I went to
domain
Tim's
is like
today.
warm.
Went to
Oh
Tim's
yeah.
today to use the washroom.
Oh, you
Mm,
sat.
It was
Oh,
warm. I had to poop. I couldn't poop at the house we were working at, so I pooped at the Tim's, and it was warm.
I
It was not
refuse to at
enjoyable.
work. I hold that sucker.
I feel like that's how we're gonna start this episode because we have nothing going. I have this is the least prepared I've ever been
We
for an
have poop.
episode.
We have poop going. That's what
Yeah.
we got.
You're gonna hear a lot more just random conversation from us in this episode because I actually don't know what we're gonna talk about. The NHL is a thing. There's a game 7 tonight. That's cool news. Do you want to
That's
start with that?
shocking news.
We'd
Let's
start with the
absolutely
game
start with
seven.
that.
Um,
For the first time ever, we are avoiding the elephant in the room, and that's
yeah.
that there is a game 6 going
Yeah,
on.
No, we
between
don't
two
need to
Canadian
talk
teams,
about
but
that
we're
yet.
gonna go
We
with
don't
game
need to
7.
talk
Yeah,
about that.
I like that.
We're gonna talk about Minnesota and the fact that they just, even when they suck, they have Vegas's number this season, and here we are.
To go away.
They were down 3-1. I thought, you know what? Maybe all the things I said about Minnesota were wrong. Maybe Vegas is going to come away with the win and it's going to make it easily. And no, they wanted nothing to do with that because Minnesota just stormed on back. Kaprizov looked better. He scored a couple goals, and they look great. They don't even look great, but they're winning, and it's
Eriksson
fantastic.
actually looked like phenomenal
Great.
as well.
Great. Left the game for a minute and a half there, but came back. He was okay, so that's good news.
Yeah, I don't get how Talbot has decided, especially with the scoring power too, right? This scoring power is unbelievable on the other side. This Vegas team is pretty deep, you know.
They're deep on their wing.
They're not afraid of anybody.
They're deep on their wing. Their center depth is oof.
Yeah.
Chandler Stevenson's their number one center.
I know. See, they've lost a lot there. There was a point where wasn't it like was it
William Karlsson is technically their second line center right now, so I guess that's a little different. But like even William Karlsson as your number one, like if you compare that to like around the league right now, like with Toronto's got Matthews, Tampa's got what Stammer right now, I think is their number one, maybe Point.
I would say Point.
I think it's Point. Boston's obviously got Bergeron. I'm trying to think of who else is out there. Just like you look at the other number one centers that are in the playoffs right now, and it's just like, yeah, they're stars. And then you look at Vegas, and I think Vegas is a good team. I think they're built pretty well. But when Chandler Stevenson's your number one center, yikes.
Yeah, they're built well, you know, defensively. I find they're pretty solid. But yeah, like they just have like some hardworking lower bottom six players, right? And they struck lightning in a bottle when they had Smythe, Karlsson, and Marchessault just come on this team for nothing.
Yeah. They the teams literally asked them to take them, and they ended up being three of the better players in the league.
Smith was like a throw-in.
Yeah. So was Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
Which is like, dude, what he did though from the amount of points he scored.
It was a joke. It was a joke. Like all the guys on that team that ended up being something special. Like they you didn't expect that out of anybody, but. No. They're a legitimate team now. Their D-core is really good, but I just find they're having trouble scoring in this series when they need it. Not like overall in the series, but when they're down, they seem to have trouble coming back and scoring.
Minnesota's looked really, really like not afraid to be there.
Either. No, they love this series.
Matt Dumba just stepped up, and that's exactly what you expect out of him, right? I love that Matt side of his
Dumba game. Obliterated. I don't remember who it was, but he obliterated some. Was it Tuck?
Yeah.
And then he ended up fighting for it. But just he's throwing the weight around. That team looks good. They're playing well defensively. You're getting good performances out of old men like Zach Parise sometimes, and it's just crazy to see what that team's doing. It's going to be a really fun game 7. I think. Should be interesting to watch for sure.
Absolutely. I wonder. I think I messaged you this like about Robin Lehner or Marc-Andre Fleury. Like it's. To me, why would you get Robin Lehner if not for a time where you've lost two in a row? You have
I don't know.
7 now. Yeah,
I'm on the fence about it.
Fleury is unbelievable. Don't get me wrong. Like probably one of the best goalies to play.
Mm-hmm. He was the best goalie in the playoffs up until the last few games.
But you traded for Robin Lehner for a reason, and it would suck because especially on a one year deal, there's no guarantee he comes back.
Personally, I would have went to him in game 6 if I was going to go to him. Mm-hmm. It's really tough to go to a fresh goalie in game 7.
You backed yourself into a corner, but some of those goals were not,
there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do in game 6. It's just like, It's tough. Game 5, I think he could have been better. But I don't know. I think you saw one bad game out of Fleury, and I don't think that's enough to make that move for game 6.
That's the thing, is that it's tough though, because now you're in game 7 and which goalie is better right now, right? Marc-Andre Fleury is kind of trending one way.
It's not looking
Your
great.
team is trending one way, yeah, and you just wonder.
But do you confidently know that currently Robin Lehner is going to be the guy that pushes you over the edge? I don't know if I can confidently say that, because he hasn't played in at least 2 weeks, right? I think they started the playoffs like almost 2 weeks ago. So it's tough. I don't know. It's a real odd situation for them, especially having 2 legitimate starting goalies and like star starting goalies in this league.
I think they're going to go with Marc-Andre Fleury, because that's kind of what they just have done. And Robin Lehner will go to free agency and probably get, once again, less money, because he hadn't played in how long?
No, yeah,
especially meaningful games, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, yeah. So that'll be fun. Good game 7.
You predicted the Wild, did you not?
I didn't on the podcast, but I said if there's any upset that's going to happen, it's probably going to be the Wild.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was wrong, because both the East matchups the East matchups, they're both upsets, including the one that finished the night before with the Penguins. That sucked. We both had that game. We had that series going 7, and Tristan Jarry had it going 4, apparently. She just looked terrible. I know Tristan Jarry is no like Vezina candidate, but Tristan Jarry is a good goalie, and he was pretty good all year. And the playoff came around, and he forgot to bring his glove, I think, because it just kept on going in, and he kept making really stupid mistakes, like the one against or in game 5 in the overtime, where he decided he's just going to pass the puck straight to, was it Beauvillier that ended up scoring, or Bailey? Not
Bailey
good.
Was the one. Yeah.
Bailey. He just passed it right to Bailey and said, "Here, man, all yours. Take this breakaway." Not great. I think the Penguins, to me, look like the Lightning if the Lightning never had Andrei Vasilevsky, because the team was flying. They were dominating the Islanders.
There were times like they flew offensively, but when the Islanders came back the other way, it's almost like they were just so tired from offensively pushing that they didn't get back in. And Tristan Jarry, like you said, wasn't willing to make a save. Yeah, he was not willing to make a save, right? And
they would give up like 20 to 25 shots a game, and that was it. Like even in the overtime periods, they were giving up less than 30 shots. But they just of those 25 shots, 4 of them were going in the net, and it's like really hard to win a game that way.
The Islanders live by, we're going to play defensively. We may let up 2 or 3 like pretty easy shots, but then we're going to push the other way and score on the one opportunity that we get, right?
Yeah.
And they made Tristan Jarry just look absolutely like a backup goalie.
Terrible. He was terrible. Yeah. Unfortunately for the Pens too, Casey DeSmith got hurt, and they didn't have Casey DeSmith to fall back on, and he's been really good this year. So that, I think that could have maybe turn the series a little bit.
And switching up your goalie also puts a different jolt on the team, right? Like you kind of get this extra
boost of confidence.
Yeah, almost, and it's like responsibility to, okay, I got to play that much better, right? There's a reason why this goalie's been pulled. You kind of feel a little responsible for it as well. So
yeah, it sucks. But hey, did any other series finish in the amount of time we were gone? No. Carolina.
No, Carolina finished. We predicted actually that
you got Winnipeg, the games,
but it was Winnipeg and Edmonton were going to game 4. That's right.
Oh, that's right.
We didn't talk about it. We said that. So we have a lot of series. I think every series really.
Yeah, you're right.
Pretty much.
I don't know what to say to Edmonton fans that I already haven't already said. Sorry.
Because remember, I said it. I predicted. That I said that.
Look at you go. You've been on a pretty good streak so far in this playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. There's the Boston series. I think you were cruising with. There's another one. You almost got this Carolina Nashville series.
Oh my god, man! If there's any series to lose, like the way that it went,
I was impressed. Yeah, I was impressed that you actually kind of almost had a chance there.
I knew it was going to be close, right?
I didn't think it would be even close, especially after games 1 and 2. No. Like you watch those 2 games, it wasn't even close.
No, the goalies just, for some reason, I wasn't buying it, for clutch saves, and they just, the series was close for sure, but I think Nashville just kind of they really got lost focus for all those overtime.
Yeah, it's also really tough to rely on UC Saros.
Oh man, yeah,
like he was good in the series, but like consistently, he's not going to be the guy that steals you games. And then Nashville just doesn't have enough star power.
Like be a pro with a goalie, you know, like
you'll pop off a shutout here and there, and then the other games you're just like,
yeah, I don't know why 6-1 in. I'm not sure.
It's tough. It was a really good series though. Last 4 games went to overtime, and it was like Nashville had the lead late in both those last 2 games, and Carolina just showed how good they are and how deep they are, and they earned the series win. It was good.
It gives you some confidence if you're Carolina too, right? Like because you're going up against the Lightning. That's a really
it's gonna be fun. That should be a really good series between the two.
What is the Lightning missing last year that they don't have this year? Realistically, like they're the same team, they're the same juggernaut. No, they're fine. They're getting there.
I don't even think it's just like a knock on them. I don't think
Stamkos wasn't healthy.
I don't see. No, you're right. I don't see them as worse than last year. I just see there's a lot of teams that are better than last year, and I think if a lot of teams can stay healthy, I think it's going to be a tougher run for Tampa than it was last year.
I think realistically, Carolina is not an easy team. You know, I don't see this going 5 or even 6. Like this is a series that could easily go 7, and but it's just
who did Tampa play? They played Columbus in round 1, and then they had the Islanders in the conference finals, right? But I don't remember who they took in the second round. But it was just kind of like it wasn't. Was it Philly? It might have been Philly.
Maybe
it was just not a tough run for them. And then Dallas in the Stanley Cup final. Whereas, like, I think all the teams you're seeing at the top this year are better than what you would have seen last year, especially out of the East.
The one difference is now is that this power play is you can't even give them one opportunity. Lethal. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
ridiculous.
So if you get 2 penalties, let's say in a game, like that's it.
You're down 2-0 already.
100%. Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's unfair. You're right. Like they need to, if they stay healthy, that's it. They're good, right? Yeah. Vasilevsky is back in playoff mode.
Dude, he's a god. He's a god. It's insane. Absolutely. He's won them so many games already this playoff. It's ridiculous. Like there's games that are getting outshot by like 15 and 20, and they're winning because you can't score on the guy. It's insane.
That Florida team has a lot of talent.
So good.
Especially in their top, 2 to 3 players.
I really wish Spencer Knight started games 1 through 4.
He looked good.
He was so good, and Bobrovsky sucks. I don't know why
these kids just making big moments. He
had that first game he played. He let in the first shot, and then he's saved 37 straight shots. Just unbelievable work from this kid. And I'd love to say Florida has a great future ahead of them, but they're handcuffed to a $10.5 million contract on a 3rd-string goalie. So that'll be fun. It's going to be tough for Florida.
This was kind of one of their windows, and I feel like maybe next year with the health of Aaron Ekblad coming back, you kind of have some control with some players, but as well that we going to lose some things.
They're going back into the Atlantic, and that is it's a nightmare of a division to be at the top of. Like with Boston, Tampa, Toronto competing with you, and then even Ottawa's a pain in the ass to play all the time. Montreal's a playoff team this year. Like. It's just not going to be fun for them. This is a good year for them.
Yeah, there's no easy challenge, right?
No,
for sure.
No.
There's no easy team, but
no. Yeah. In order to continue avoiding the series I don't want to talk about, I would like to pose a question that I heard the other day, and it's kind of fun. This is completely unrelated. I just want to completely veer off because we can do that. If you had a chance to play in the NFL, do you think you could get a rushing yard?
One?
Just one.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's different for you because you're pretty tall. You can just kind of run through people.
I think also, trusting in the offensive lineman to not only move.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's that hard to get 1 yard in the NFL.
I think it's possible that I could get 3 even.
Ooh, 3.
Like in one play.
I'd be happy with 1. I'm pretty little.
But if you catch the defensive line off guard, or even you
get blocks. If you get a good block, you can get a first down.
Absolutely, go for a little run. Like it's really all in the offensive line.
Now, I'm not saying I'm going to survive the hit I take at the end of it. It's probably a one and done for me in the NFL.
My knees will be gone because that's what they're going for. I understand that.
I'm going to get obliterated right after I get through my blocks, but I could probably get a yard, and I think I could hold on to the ball. Like if I just really tuck that son of a bitch in my chest and I get going with my blocks, I should be able to get a yard.
Have you used those gloves before?
Yeah, they're glue.
Those gloves,
they're glue. Much. They are glue. I think I don't think I've seen a couple of people have that conversation. I don't think it's that hard. I don't think being a running back is easy. Don't get me wrong. No. I could not be an NFL running back, but I think if I got one chance and I had a good O-line in front of me, I think I could definitely have a chance of getting a
Dude, I'm picturing the Patriots O-line.
Yeah.
They move people, they're big bodies.
Like, I think the Cowboys have a good O-line. I think I could
one
of
the most expensive.
Yeah. I think there's lots of teams I would have a chance on. There's lots I wouldn't.
No.
Of course, but there's lots I would.
Cleveland.
I think Cleveland would have a great chance. Their running backs just pick up yards for fun by accident.
Their running backs are also
incredible. They get through the blocks and then they get through the defense too. So it's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do the second part. I would just get through the block and I'd be dead. But yeah. All right, fine. I've held it off long enough. Toronto Maple Leafs lost in Game 5 to the Montreal Canadiens. It shouldn't be that big a deal. It's Game 5. They're still up 3-2. It shouldn't matter.
It is a big deal, though.
It's the Toronto Maple Leafs, man.
It's a big deal.
I'm not worried, but I don't like it.
This is the issue with being a Toronto fan, is that even being the top team and even having, realistically a game slip up in overtime where like you clawed your way back into it and then gave up a really shitty opportunity.
Yeah, not great.
And it's a heartbreaker for sure, but now it's like you're going into Game 6 almost like scared, and it's why? Who on the Montreal Canadiens scares you?
You really hope that the actual Leafs have a very different mindset than Leafs fans, because I know as a Leaf fan, I'm a little concerned, just a little bit, not a lot, but enough, because we've seen it so many times. It shouldn't matter. It's the Canadiens. They're a significantly better team than the Montreal Canadiens, and they've shown it all series long, and they showed it in that game.
But there are now things that you can do, and there are players that are going to be coming out and people who are going to be going into your lineup who can help this, right? You're going to go back to 6 defensemen because Travis Dermott is going to come in and play.
Yeah. Rasmus Sandin was terrible in that game. I love Rasmus Sandin, but holy, he looked bad.
And you can't go down to 5 defensemen, not like this, not this round. That's not something you should be doing to try to win the game.
It's crazy that they benched him for that long a time. Mm-hmm. I thought maybe like a few shifts here, like maybe to end the period or something. But after that first period, they never saw Rasmus Sandin again. And good on Sheldon Keefe, I guess. Like, way to nut up. But holy, that's a bold play in a playoff game. Excuse me. Now, on the other side of removing people from the lineup, I've seen a lot of really bad takes on removing Alex Galchenyuk from the lineup. Alex Galchenyuk made a massive mistake. Don't get me wrong. That was a brutal turnover on the blue line. Alex Galchenyuk was also a part of 5 of the last 7 goals, I believe, that the Leafs had. So let's not pretend that Alex Galchenyuk hasn't been a net positive since he's been in the lineup. He just made one glaring mistake.
Do you think that he's going to be doing that again as well? Like just firing a pass through the middle of that setup?
Boneheaded play. He knows he made his mistake. Yeah, he's going to learn from it.
That's a really offensive-minded player in Cole Caulfield, because that's kind of what Montreal said.
Great play.
Yeah, and like, dude, the defense usually doesn't pinch that way for the Maple Leafs, right? Like, for have both of your defense.
It was real awkward all around. Like Bogo going deep, Muzzin not really anywhere relevant.
Right,
kind of sucked. And
it put Galchenyuk in an awkward position. Who, instead of just firing it back down below the net, he made a real
ill-advised pass. It wasn't a very good idea.
And that was it. So,
yeah,
and Jack
but
Campbell,
that was his only mistake. That's been his only mistake in the series so far.
Yeah, and you knew no save was coming. Like, right, it was just the way that it was a 2-1.
The way that 2-0 broke down, you're like, this is a miracle if Jack can make this save. Mm-hmm. And Jack Campbell blamed himself, bless his soul.
Dude,
come on, buddy.
What more do you want out of a goalie?
I think Jack could have had all 3 of the regulation goals. He looked rough on the first three goals, but he settled down. He was fantastic after that. But to blame yourself for the OT goal on a 2-0 with 2 legitimate offensive threats, it's a little much.
Yeah.
You'll be okay, Jack. It's fine.
I think that more is him saying sorry for
I think
all the goals.
He's just way too nice.
That's what they're kind of asking about, right?
Way too nice, Jack.
That's all they care about now is the overtime goal.
Yeah. Back on Galchenyuk a little bit, but like, do you honestly think that Galchenyuk has been worse in this series than Brooks, Engvall, or Mikheyev?
Right. Who goes in that lineup, man? Like that's the worst part about it.
Everyone's just like, oh, well, Foligno's going to come back. I don't know where everyone just thinks Foligno's going to come back. Like, and who knows with that guy?
He's not coming back as the same.
He's hurt. He's hurt.
Exactly. He's skating kind of weak on the ice. Yeah. So now if he's going to go in a game, I guarantee you he's not going to be throwing his weight around the same way that he does. And that's not going to help your team in this series.
Even if he comes back, Adam Brooks played like 5 minutes in that game. He was irrelevant. I didn't notice him at all. Why would you not take him out? Why would you not take out someone that's really not doing anything? Or Mikheyev and Engvall, who like they've been good. They haven't allowed a lot of goals. They haven't had any goals against, I don't think. But they do nothing when they have the puck, and they're kind of useless in that matter.
I guess it's just that like Riley Nash wasn't really all that much to.
No, I don't think Riley Nash
at home about. So then who?
If it's not Foligno, even if it's Foligno, if Foligno just miraculously is 100% tomorrow, he's not taking Galchenyuk out of this lineup. Galchenyuk has earned his role at this point.
Rest, right? Like this is important for this team to get a lot more rest because Foligno needs to get healthy. Yeah. Thornton is looking slow out there, and that's not his fault. That's just that's what happens.
He's just old.
Yeah,
I think he's made some positive plays on the ice, which I don't think Thornton's been a negative by any means.
No, but he also makes plays. Like he also doesn't make plays because he's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
The game moves a lot faster than him, right? He's sometimes like 20 years older than the players that he's playing against.
Mm-hmm. I haven't had a lot of issues with Joe Thornton. I know some people have. I think he's doing what he can, and I think he's doing enough.
But if you're relying on Joe Thornton's defense only, that's where the issue is, right? It's a team game, and those defenders need to stay back. And I think that's why Rasmus Sandin not being in that lineup anymore is going to help them in Game 6.
Hyun-Jin Ryu just threw a 68-mile-an-hour pitch for
of course he did.
That's slower than I know. That's nuts. Yeah. I'm not that worried. The fan thing I think is going to be hilarious. Because tickets are going for $1 gajillion a piece.
You think it's going to be? Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be anything meaningful. They're going to be like,
there's 2,000 fans in like a 30,000 seat stadium. Is it not?
2,500. Yeah.
2,500 fans. I'm not really concerned about this rocking crowd that they think they're going to have because I think a good chunk of them might end up being Leaf fans because we also haven't seen hockey in a long time. I don't think it's going to be a high percentage, but I think it's going to be enough that like you're 2,000, even say 500 of them are Leaf fans. 2,000 Montreal fans are not going to make a difference at this point.
They're still going to be pumping noise in.
You're going to have to. If they don't, it's hilarious.
I know that
does it matter?
I think so. Playing in front of any fans at all, you get that extra little motivation.
Does it really give the home teams that much of a push, though? I haven't seen it much this playoffs.
Well, okay, but if you think about it, a lot of them are also going to be the families of the players, hopefully,
right.
Like especially for the Montreal Canadiens. So if they go and play, then you're playing in front of your family, which would give you more motivation, right?
Yeah, you would think.
So I think in some way it does.
I think it might.
In the sense, dude, when you watch Nashville, like that was unreal because every time that it was a goal, like that stadium went berserk because everybody is side by side.
The Nashville Carolina fan aspect was different because their fan bases are ridiculous. So their houses were rocking, but they were full. Not 2,000 people. I don't know if 2,000 people is enough to make a difference in a 20.
You're playing in front of people. That's all it is.
I guess. But like Toronto's also playing in front of people now. They're looking to break hearts here. Like you finally get your team back and you're all ready to go. And what happens if Toronto comes out and stomps you?
I hope so. One thing that's going to really determine that is more ice time for Nylander in a weird way.
Yes.
Because like he needs to see more time out there. I loved it after a certain, a certain icing that they threw out Matthews, Marner, and Nylander.
Yeah, it's great.
That was great. And that's kind of what you need.
William Nylander was like triple shifting. He was on with his line. Then he was on with the Engvall and Mikheyev pairing. And then he was on with Matthews and Nylander or Matthews and Marner just right away. I would just like to say, we talked about Nylander many times this season. And every time I posted a clip, there was at least 5 or 6 people that were just like, oh, wait till the playoffs. I don't know what I was supposed to be waiting for in the playoffs, but apparently it was wait for me to be more correct because this guy's doing everything.
Dude, he's unreal right now.
He's doing it all.
He's doing everything on defense.
Yeah.
He's taking pucks away. I don't know, like when you watch him and especially Matthews as well, when they lurk behind players, they are like in the perfect stick distance away to lift it and take off. And that's it. Like,
you know what else he's doing? He's throwing hits. Not a lot, but he's throwing like the timely hits that separate people from the puck.
But you're making sure that you're there. That's it. Right? Let them know that you're there, and they're going to get the puck off.
He's in your way. He's in everyone's way constantly, and he's taking the puck from everybody, and he's making Carey Price his son at this point, because outside of last game where he robbed him like 3 times, Carey Price has had no answer for William Nylander, and it's fantastic. And I am so glad that every middle-aged dude in Leafs Nation has now just full heel turn, and they're like, well, maybe he's not that bad, because he's been fantastic.
Right. They're sticking to the game plan of getting that puck as low as possible outside of that top line. And and Nylander has capitalized a couple times. Right. Mm-hmm. And even when he gets his open looks and his shots, right? He's exactly. You love to see it.
It's very Kotkaniemi meme 4 times.
Right. He's already up.
He's been so good. He's been good. I'd also like to point out Morgan Rielly has been really good, not just on offense, but on defense, which is nuts. I saw a play last night. I knew Rielly and Brody were on the ice, and there was a play where they beat a D-man, and they were on a rush, and the other D-man swung and made a beautiful play to break up the rush. I'm like, oh, good play, Brody. And he turns around, and it's Rielly. I'm like, what? Morgan Rielly doing defensive things. How are you doing? It was great. It just
he's trying to earn that money. Okay, he knows. He knows what's at stake here.
Yeah. He's been great. I'm really happy for Mo. That guy deserves the world on this team.
Yeah, I've also been really impressed with Jason Spezza. I think he's capitalized a lot on some opportunities.
Yeah, it's nuts.
He's faced a lot of adversity the moment he came into Toronto. Right, going against Babs was a tough time. That's a joke, right? Like you bring him in and then he sits.
Yeah, it was a joke. I'm so glad he's succeeding. I'm so glad Mo's succeeding, and I just hope this team can get it done. I don't even care if it takes 7 games. I just really hope they can get it done. It's just so painful to be a Leaf fan sometimes.
Are you watching this Jays game?
Holy, it is a disaster out there.
The up is just not.
Vlad is literally just laughing it off because it's just like a full.
He keeps calling time to
blistering
put the wind down, and the bats are on their shoulders. Look at that! Everything is just floating high, 85 high. That's it.
It's insane, man. I don't know why they started this game. Oh, I know what we need to talk about. We're done with hockey. We're good. You got anything else?
I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, sure.
The Blue Jays had a debut yesterday.
Oh my god! Oh no!
Yeah. Alek Manoah. Baby, oh my god, he was so good. Oh, Vladdy, not enough. Just was it 6 innings, no runs, 7 Ks, 2 hits, 2 walks, just carving the New York Yankees.
That was unreal against the Yankees. He looked good.
Oh my god, everyone, like, there's a lot of people really skeptical when he came up, like, oh, it's too early, he's only thrown 30 minor league innings. Don't care. This kid dominated. 23 years old. It was his time to come up.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit about how many minor league innings he's thrown. He's now thrown 6 major league innings, and he hasn't given up a run.
In 30 innings, how much better was he? Like, absolutely. What is he learning?
What more does he have to do in the minors? Yeah, no, it was fantastic. It was the greatest moment of my day when the first strikeout he has as a major league pitcher, Rougned Odor. Like, could it be any more storybook perfect for Alek Manoah?
Person to get your mojo going with,
4-pitch walk to DJ LeMahieu to start the game, and you're like, oh no, here we go. And then Rougned Odor just looks stupid. Yeah, and then Aaron Judge.
DJ LeMahieu has been like a really tough at bat for any pitcher,
Everyone.
Absolutely. So, 4 pitches, and then they come back and just go, yeah, that's it.
He's like, oh, this is no different. This is exactly the same as I've been doing for the past 23 years of my life. And he just went out there, nutted up, made Rougned look stupid, which isn't very hard, and then made Judge look bad twice. I'm pretty sure Rougned twice. Oh, that's a terrible read to Oscar. Just a fantastic outing from Alek Manoah, and I am so excited to see what this kid continues to do in the major leagues, in the majors. He's in the majors. Here he is. The number 6 on his back too. Love it.
Oh, it's a lot better than some of the other people that we were seeing come up and pitch.
Yeah, Nate's a recent one that kind of comes to mind, and like you think of it, they're the same age, Manoah and Nate, and obviously there's some different issues there, and I think Nate's been hurt a little, but it's great. It's great to see. I'm so glad we have a prospect that might turn out.
I think that it's just like also one's trending one way and the other is kind of trending the other way. So you gotta ride the hot arm, and that's okay, right? If Alek Manoah can stay here, and then absolutely, way to go, Gretch. And then if Nate can figure it out, then you have 2 that are just going at the same time, right?
Yeah. Oh man, if you get Nate Pearson into this on top of Alek Manoah,
can you imagine the Jays GMs will be laughing?
Oh my God.
Everyone upstairs will be just looking at each other with nothing but smiles like, wow, I can't believe this worked out.
It's great. It's going to save you a lot of money too, because they're cheap. And at that point, you don't have to re-sign Mats or Razor. And you're just going to save money there. So it's fine. I would like to see Robbie Ray come back because I really like Robbie Ray, but like you don't have to, because you have all these options now. And then
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
I know. Robbie Ray came out of nowhere. He's been so fun. I love that guy.
He's fun guy.
He gives up so many home runs. So many home runs.
Okay.
Yeah. So many home runs. But just like
so many strikeouts.
So many strikeouts. And the pants and the grunting when he throws, and just like everything about like his like mohawk thing he's got going on.
He looks like a machine.
Like razor sharp beard, and just the look of anger in his eyes every time he's on the mound. I can't dislike Robbie Ray. No. The fact that he just forgot how to walk people all of a sudden too, crazy.
He doesn't want to walk people.
No, it's awesome. I would love to see Robbie Ray come back. I would also love to see Marcus Semien come back for the rest of his life, because he's been so good.
He's been like he's fit in well. You almost don't think he's on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, like, you hate to see that.
Would you honestly be okay with signing him?
Yeah,
and just kind of keeping the team that you have, especially knowing that you still have some free money. For 2-3 years, you can get him to come back, and then Ryu's up in 3, Semien will be up in 3.
Yeah,
especially if
I think he can get 5 somewhere is the problem. So I think if you're going to offer it, I think he might give you the benefit of the doubt and be like, "Hey, you guys gave me a chance."
Yeah, and maybe less about 5 and more about what can I do in my 3 here?
Sure.
And can I get more and then get another 3?
Do I want to play 3 here or 5 in Seattle where they're?
Oh, that's gone. Tell me that's gone.
I'm so far. Oh no, this. I haven't even had the pitch yet. The wind is just killer because that is an absolute nuke off of Lourdes' back.
It's gonna hit the bottom of the wall.
That hurts so much.
That hurts.
How are you playing a baseball game today? That's so brutal.
This team is just showing you that they can compete. So why break it up after a year, right? Marcus Semien having to go fit into a new organization, especially when he's already slid into one of the leaders of this team.
Yeah.
Like that's something that you want to keep around, right? And I think the Jays are showing that if you fit in well, they're going to keep you around.
Yeah.
Right? They want you here.
They're showing it. They're letting these core guys stick around. No. And if Marcus Semien wants to be a part of this core group, hell, why not?
Can you imagine the core group the Jays would have had if they didn't try to just push it? Like, we understand, obviously, you have to go for it, right? There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. It's good. Joe? No. Oh, that's a wind-aided bomb. Oh, wind giveth, wind taketh away, eh? Just
opposite
fantastic.
Field, that's it.
Lourdes puts a charge into a 420-foot shot that it lands 350 feet.
You know what's funny? The wind is just going like this and then this. It's going
crazy.
It just
crazy. Joe Panic.
Bang.
Wow.
Look at that.
Love it.
He knows right away too. Pitcher just doesn't even look at it.
Joe Panic's so fun on the bench. I'm happy.
Yeah, but it's like there's just guys who want to play here, and that's what you need. Right?
This is exactly, and I think they have a good lineup of guys right now in their core that just want to be here and want to play for the Blue Jays, and it's great.
And they're young, right? That was the thing about the Jays of 2015, 16 was it, or 2014, I guess, because they weren't really competitive. That
no, 2015-16 were the 2 playoff years.
Was it 2? Yeah, okay. Those years, they were also had a time limit on them because we knew like David Price was getting older, Jose Bautista was getting older, Edwin was older, JD was older.
JD never stays healthy, so you weren't sure. Same with Tulo.
Tulo was never really in the lineup, right? Devin Travis, even though younger, couldn't seem to get healthy. Yeah, it was just it was so frustrating to see. R.A. Dickey was like the old
100 years old.
Yeah, but because
Mark Burley was 100 years old.
I can throw 40-mile-an-hour pitch that just drops out of nowhere. I can stay in this league. Like
Aaron Sanchez couldn't figure out his arm to stay healthy.
It sucked to watch, and now you have a different kind of situation where you have a lot of talent who are committed to this team for a while, like contract.
I love those 2 rosters, and they were fun at the time. This team is so much more fun to watch.
They brought in a lot of like want to see guys,
like just guys. Energy and flair and just everything about it.
Jose, when he started figuring out how to hit bombs, that was exciting already, right? JD was unbelievable third base, right? How you even got that trade to go down was stupid, right? Was so stupid.
Oakland, baby.
That was the biggest hose job I think I've ever seen.
That was so bad. I'm so good for it though.
And then Edwin was kind of a shock as well. Like I don't think anybody expected Edwin to be.
He was so bad, and then he was incredible. Overnight.
He was a third baseman. Let's not forget that.
Well, and then if you want to call him that, he played third base. Yep.
And then he went to first. And then it was just like, you know what? You're a DH. Let's roll with that.
Yeah, it was great. So but this team now, you got Vladdy in there, you get Bo in there, you get guys like that are just so Lourdes, Teoscar, just so much fun to watch. Just play the game of baseball and just be around those guys. It's awesome. I have a question for you.
Oh God.
It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
Is it the question?
I don't think so. It's not that deep.
All right.
It's not that serious.
Give him the ball.
There's a bit of a thing going on in baseball right now. And Josh Donaldson kind of brought it up, and he said he's going to release an entire catalog, quote unquote, that of pitchers that use foreign substances to help themselves pitch.
Right.
My question to you: do you care
about the foreign substance?
Yeah. I don't care personally.
I don't know. I don't really care because it's already hard enough. I don't. But then again, it's why have it?
That's
why not just pitch? And if you're gonna get dominated, then every pitcher is gonna get dominated. And
I appreciate
the good ones will survive, and you can adjust. You're supposed to be a professional, right? Like we wouldn't let NHL players use certain.
Steroids are illegal for hitters. Like you can't do. Yeah, I guess, but it's just like I don't know. I appreciate a good pitching performance.
Your bats have to be a certain regulation.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do certain things.
It's such a widely known thing that so many guys are doing this, do we really care, or is it just people just want to make a big stink about it?
I think it's the worry of if you give an inch, people are going to run a mile. We've already seen it.
Sure.
We've seen it.
It's going to go from there and get worse.
That's been going on in MLB, and now no one's really done anything about it. And I guarantee you, there's still some going on, right? You still hear whispers here and there of other teams cheating and players saying, "Look, I have."
Tyler Glasnow tried to accuse the Blue Jays of doing it,
right,
in a game that they lost,
right. So,
come on, Tyler.
Sure,
I don't know, man. There's a guy on TikTok that his entire account is literally just dedicated to like pointing out that pitchers are cheating. And I'm like, why do you spend so much energy doing that? I'm like, I do not care, man.
Because you've said to batters that, you're not going to let them do that. You're not going to let them have an advantage. So the pitchers shouldn't either. And
I guess it's just
the balls.
It's just a little much.
The balls being juiced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think realistically, what Major League Baseball needs to do is every team needs to look at their stadiums and start to move it back.
Get some dimensions difference. Yeah.
These guys are finding
stop letting the Yankees have a fucking 200-foot porch out there and right.
It's unbelievable.
It's brutal.
Yeah. The Red Sox.
Oh, you just hit a bunch of deep.
To be? Yeah,
like shallow fly balls that just go 100 feet in the air.
You need 308. That's it, and you can clear that wall. That would just barely clear that wall.
You hit a wall scraper that doesn't leave any other yard. Houston, Houston just like finds ways to put balls into that little jut.
You need to find ways to move it back, right? Maybe back in the day, that was an appropriate size for a stadium.
Sure. Not anymore. Science
this is not these guys. Yeah, and they're athletes now. Let's remember that they're not just jobbers; they're legitimate athletes now. These guys are being like scientifically tested.
Yeah, the whole like baseball players aren't athletes thing springs from way back then when it was true, but now it's just not a thing. Baseball players are just freaks.
Go watch Mike Trout hit a golf ball and tell me that he's not an athlete.
Go look at Giancarlo Stanton without a shirt.
Yasiel Puig? Are you serious?
Dude. Your boy there played for the Reds. You know exactly who I'm thinking of.
Oh, Derek Dietrich.
That guy's a
Michael Lorenzen.
Michael Lorenzen. There's a bunch. Like there's a ton of guys that you don't even Randall Grichuk's forearms are like the size of my head. Like these guys are huge. It's not
It's not a joke.
It's ridiculous at this
point. It's not just like men going for beers afterwards. Like they are on strict diets. They are on meal plans. They are on workout plans. They're on everything.
Yeah.
And so like I get it that pitchers are complaining that, this is unfair because we don't have any sort of advantage, but it's also more on Major League Baseball saying that these parks are just not big enough. Like these are men,
guys are hitting home runs still. Even with pitchers doing this. So it's just like, I don't know. Maybe we need
to what I'd honestly like to see too?
Neutralize the hitters.
The NHL, if the NHL were to adapt the Olympic size rink, cool.
Yeah.
These guys are so much faster now. Like, absolutely. That's what you want to see.
It'd be a much more entertaining game for the skill teams, I think, because you get a little more room to work.
Way less worrisome for for these players.
Maybe less injuries too. You're not flying around in a little area.
Yes.
I don't hate it. I kind of like
just it. You don't have to adapt the Olympic style of game.
No,
but you can adapt the
just
rink
the ice
and just have more space out there. Can you imagine some of the 3-on-3 games?
Can you imagine giving Connor McDavid more space?
3-on-3 games, everyone would sit back on Connor McDavid. It would be 3 men back as soon as he touched the puck.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I thought it's interesting. I don't know. Baseball's a weird sport like that. There's all these little rules.
Yeah.
I think I'm done.
I think I am too. I think I want to see this Vegas game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping to catch that. That was fun. Considering we had nothing ready and we dragged it out this long. It's
Monday
pretty good.
Will be a much
hopefully we're way better Monday. I'm tired.
Hopefully we have a Leafs win too.
Hopefully. Jesus. I don't want to have to talk about game 7 on Monday. I really don't. I'm traumatized from this. I don't want to see it. Thank you for listening. As always, don't forget to follow us at the BnB pod _, on Twitter and Instagram. See, I can't even remember their thing at this point. And at the BnB podcast on TikTok.
It's 8:20 for those wondering. It's not that late.
No, I had to wake up in the morning today.
His third inning of the Jays. He is just.
I'm losing it. I just don't have it.
He's getting old, folks.
You can find merchandise like the thing that Brandon's currently wearing, and all sorts of other content from us at theasports.com, THEEH sports.com. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We will catch you early next week, give or take. Hopefully we'll be a little more ready to go. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it.
I think we were splendid.
We'll catch you soon. Cheers.